Is it possible that a misfortunate event could actually bring about results that will be well worth it in eternity? Hello, fellow missionaries. Welcome back to Mission Viewfinder. Today, we are here visiting some good friends of ours, missionaries here in Thailand, who have recently moved to a new place, and they've got an exciting and interesting story to tell.
Every year, we, from the villagers around here, they say that the fires come through pretty good every year. But this year,
it was particularly bad.
It was particularly bad because the monk at the top of up above our place, he was burning a pile. He was burning a pile of brush and whatever. And he decided that, you know, it was doing okay. He'd swept the leaves around it, and he'd go down and sit in the house for a while because it was kind of hot.
Oh, no.
So he went down there, and we were down here working, and we just heard the roar of the fire going up the mountain. And
it's fire season, so we're like, that doesn't sound too good.
Yeah. At first we thought, well, they're probably just burning a pile, but then it kept just roaring and roaring and roaring. And finally we walked up to the top and to check it out, and it was obvious it was going up the mountain. And so we were like, well, after a certain point, the fires won't go out at night. So we kind of took a look at it, and we were like, well, it's not going to get us tonight or probably tomorrow. It's headed up the mountain right now, so we weren't terribly worried about it at that point. But then through the next couple of days, it kept moving further and further around the mountain, and then it was like about 4 o'clock in the morning on Sunday that she woke up and she looked out the window, and it's glowing red, and you can hear hear the bamboo snapping and popping, and I was like, I think it's coming today. And so then we found out later that it had already, at that point, it had hit somebody's rice field. And because it was all just a rice field, it had been burning really, really hot through there. But it was moving around and around further downhill from us. And then finally, around noon, a whole bunch of motorbikes came up. And they're like, the fires are burning the rice fields, so we have to light them off. And so they went on down to light off the fires, and so we thought, okay, well, there's like 10 or 15 people down there to do it, and so they lit it off, and it wasn't but 20 minutes later, all the motorbikes are racing up, and they're like, well, it's out of control, we can't do anything about it, get ready.
We had a breeze that afternoon.
And it was a strong wind coming up the valley.
You couldn't light a backfire. If you lit a backfire, you couldn't control it. It would go on right past you.
Yeah.
And what was it that they were so worried about here, other than houses?
Well, it's the orchards and things, because people have put years and years of time into the orchards. And so then in between the orchards, there's other places that haven't become orchards that are just all tall, dry grass. So basically everybody from over there, they all came racing up, and they saw, well, it's going to hit your place first. So they all stopped on our road here, and we decided that we were going to fight it there, and we were going to hopefully stop it.
It's getting bigger, and there was bamboo that had been cut right on the border.
Looking across the bamboo, it was shooting the flames higher than the bamboo in places. It was amazing. And then at the right on the border, there was a place that was cut, just bamboo that was cut, and so that burned really hot. Then it hit the field, and it seemed to be coming up, and it kind of was down low in the field, coming through the grass. And just right towards the bottom, you know, well, as it was getting close to us, we're all getting ready to fight it. It just shot up like, I don't know, it was way up there. Probably like 20 feet in the air. And we're down there at the base trying to, you know, fight it, and it's racing up the hill. It basically hit us in the front, and then all on 3 sides, all the way up. And we fought it and fought it and fought it and kept going up the property. We were putting out everything down below. And about halfway up the property, we couldn't handle it anymore, so it took out the top. But initially, when it hit the front of our property, the house off to the in front of our place, the last I saw of it through the smoke was just a few poles and the roof all ablaze.
Wow.
And
was anybody living there?
no, they weren't actually home.
So what did this look like as a community? I mean, it's not like you had professional firefighters out here, but who all was out here, and what was your involvement with it?
It was just basically the owners of the different property and orchards around here. Just everybody with their, it was mostly rakes and hose and water buckets.
Probably about 10 people, I think.
Yeah.
Wow.
10 people at our place, and then depending on where it went. But by evening they had gone into town and alerted the whole town, and they had probably 50 to 60 people fighting it on the other side of the creek, because it got away from us. And since they got up, and they were even as late as like 8 o'clock, they were still lighting backfires to stop it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you guys have been here not that long, what, almost a year?
Oh, we've had the property for about 7 months.
Okay.
But we've been in the area for over a year.
Over a year.
Yeah.
So your goal obviously has been to try to build relationships, get to know people, share Christ with them. This is mostly Buddhist, right?
Yeah.
So how has that been, and how did this experience impact that?
Well, whenever you enter an area, it's kind of slow in getting started, because you have to gain their trust. And one thing with the fire that we didn't realize it at the time, but you know, when you come into an area and you're the foreigner, and everybody's like, what are you doing here? Why did you come here?
Right.
But then when the fire came through and they saw us, that we weren't afraid. We stood with them, and we fought as hard as we could to stop it. They saw that, and it has totally changed the attitude of the village.
Wow. So essentially something that, I mean, honestly, it's not something we wanted to happen, especially for those who lost valuable orchards, but it's essentially for the work here, what God is doing is God has used something that was negative or unfortunate to actually be a blessing in the work here.
And like the durian orchard beside us, after it all burned and everything, we were able to go and help them reinstall all their pipes and everything, to see if we could save some of the durian that was burned.
We actually felt terrible for that man, because, you know, in comparison, our property was worth nothing. That place up there was worth hundreds of thousands baht, and the trees were already fruiting. He was looking forward to getting back some of the, you know, some of the, what would you call it? Well, money back.
The fruit of what he had planted.
Because he'd been working for 7 years and put all his money into that. So I prayed for him that night after the fire, because, you know, I was just thinking, Lord, he lost a lot there, and he's an older man. Please bring a blessing through this. Help it to bring him closer to you. Show him your loving care through all this. And the next morning we found out that somebody had given him 30,000 to put in the pipe. And so that's what we went and helped put in.
Wow, and 30,000, that's like $1,000. So, and that's not nothing around here. Like, that's a good chunk of money.
That's a huge chunk of money.
Well, it's exciting to see what God is already doing. And I'm sure as you guys keep praying and building these relationships, like, they're going to see more and more that you're normal people. Like, you're here to be a part of the community. And I'm sure God will bless these efforts. So thank you for sharing. That's all for today, friends. We hope that you have been encouraged to look for the ways that God will bring the best out of the worst situations, because I know He will, even for you. Thank you for joining us. We hope you'll join us next week here for another vlog on Mission Viewfinder.